Okay, welcome everybody. This is the SIG testing meeting on Tuesday, March 6th. It's being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube as soon as we get around to it. Today we have a pretty short agenda, so hopefully we can get through quickly. Cole, if possible, could you mute your mic? There's a lot coming through there. So the only two things we have on the agenda today is a question from Tim about the current status of the release blocking jobs, and then a question from me about where we're at with the type check job and whether that got enabled. Tim, I guess your floor.
Yay, Ben is here. Ben, do you have like an updated status of where things are with regards to the SIG cluster lifecycle Kubernetes jobs?
Yeah. So it looks like in the past they've actually been using 3 distinct builds for every run. I'm digging through that and trying to sort it out. So hopefully we can get it down to at least 2. I'm hoping to have things green again, but I don't really know, and I'm not sure exactly what was failing before these issues.
There was only a small number of actual issues, and I thought they were flakes from what I saw. I didn't see anything major that caused me consternation, at least at this point. We are running separate tests right now in our own setup to verify, and we'll have data back to compare once the test suite even runs. So
great. I've been manually rerunning it with different parameters and looking through where it gets everything from. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to sort things out. There's a lot of weird things going on with how it computes the GCS locations.
Yeah, no one really owns it. I think that's kind of the problem. It was created by a couple of folks who don't really own it and just kind of had to hack something together. But now it's become pretty important for the release. So until we have a replacement for it, we have to at least get by.
Yeah, I'm trying to at least get it to run cleanly, but there's logic in Kubernetes Anywhere, in Kubernetes itself, in kubetest, and in the E2E script, all determining where to get builds from. So getting those to line up is fun.
Okay. Well, feel free to poke me on the other channel if you want me to wrangle some more cats together.
Okay.
We can help out.
Okay, cool. Looks like Ryan's not here, but maybe Ben or Cole. Did we make the change to do type check?
It's running. It reports. It's not blocking yet. I was going to PR that. I wanted to check and make sure that, just definitely sure that we continue to run cross for the older branches and that we won't have any problems. And that everyone's okay with the fact that we won't be running it in batches anymore. Not type check, but cross. We don't actually have support for conditionally running things in batches other than branches, I believe. So right now we're actually just saying always run cross, which is not great. So if we can use type check, we're going to turn that off and lean on type check pretty heavily instead. I will probably PR enabling that today, but we also need to like wait for lazy consents and mailing lists, etc.
Have we run into any cases where the cross builds caught something that type check didn't? Is that a common?
It's not common. It's technically possible because type check doesn't validate the actual build logic. So like there's the actual cross build involves more than just building the code.
Should we switch the cross build to a post submit, or can we still run it on just batches?
We'll run it in CI, and we will run it on pre-submit, not batch, when you change the build scripts.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. And some of the API differences, I believe, was the reason that Ryan ended up vendoring some of the Go libraries, right, to fix those?
Yeah, there have been some upstream fixes. They already exist, but they're not in a released Go version yet.
Right, okay. Cool. And I guess the last thing that I kind of wanted to bring up, just so everyone saw it, there was an issue opened against Tenstifra yesterday, I believe, asking if it would be possible to start blacklisting specific statuses on pull requests in order for Tide to ignore them. Kind of a thorny, long simmering discussion. So I don't know if it's I don't know to see it, I guess.
So the main idea against this is that Tide kind of wants all the statuses to be actually important, I guess, and if they should be green, otherwise they're not an important status. That being said, I think that's a little too optimistic, and not all statuses are going to follow that across all repos. So Tide is just going to need something to handle that. It should be pretty easy to implement and add in.
Probably also a good question, like to point Contribex at this, and maybe ask the question like, what's the messaging look like when we're like, oh, in this repository, you do need everything to be green, but here sometimes things look to be green. So yeah, maybe we put them into.
I think it's pretty well understood if we restricted to specific cases like reviewable, that the repo is just ignoring that and that they're using LGTM and approve instead. I wish they'd turn off the status, but I don't think we can enforce that. We should discourage it being used for actual tests.
Mm-hmm. And we're pretty certain that we're not, the required statuses that we used to have, like where are we with that right now in Proud? Do we have, is this still a Munger that goes back and does that?
We kind of need them to be required to avoid a very unlikely race condition. If they're not required and Tide is just checking to make sure that everything that exists is green, then if the PR just immediately is picked up by Tide before anything can report, we won't know about any of those things and we'll think everything is green.
So if they're
required though, GitHub will say that it's waiting for it.
Right. So in those cases, could we ask that reviewable be non-required? Would that be an appropriate way of handling this, or do we want logic in Tide?
Well, making it not required won't. Tide will still consider it required. So Tide will still.
Well, I guess the combination of making it not required and then making Tide only care about required statuses.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, that's all we have on the agenda. Is there anybody else that wants to bring something else up? We have time.
Just a PSA that we have the testing comments meeting tomorrow for folks who are doing conformance work or interested in the testing framework stuff.
Hi, this is Dims. I just posted on the Slack channel a tiny gist for how I'm running kubetest with the local up cluster to run conformance stuff. So it's turned out very well so far. So thanks a lot for everybody here who has helped with the work.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Awesome. Well, everyone gets 20 minutes back. Have a good Tuesday.